Coming up on First at 4, the U.S. military shot down another unidentifiable flying object yesterday. That makes 3 in 3 days. And we talk with one Eastern Kentucky family who has a long history of serving people in their community.
It's been mild today. We're getting milder this week. But what does that mean for our next chance of rain? We'll break it all down coming up as First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
What started off as a suspected Chinese spy balloon being shot down 9 days ago off the coast of South Carolina has now become a much broader intelligence investigation with more flying objects blown out of the sky. Yesterday, the U.S. military shot down yet another unidentifiable flying object. That makes 3 over the last 3 days. Officials say the latest object is not considered a military threat, but it could have potential surveillance capabilities. CBS's Nicole D'Antonio has the latest.
For 3 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the U.S. military shot down objects over Alaska, Canada's Yukon Territory, and Lake Huron. That's after an American fighter jet destroyed a Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina more than a week ago. The fourth unmanned object was shot down by an F-16 over Lake Huron Sunday near Michigan. It was first detected Saturday over Montana.
Lake Huron has been choppy, so it's been difficult to recover. There's a joint U.S.-Canadian effort to make sure we keep eyes on that equipment and pick it up.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says recovery teams are on the ground looking to find and analyze the object shot down over Canada's Yukon Territory.
We will continue to do everything necessary to protect the sovereignty of our shared North American airspace.
Biden administration officials say the 3 objects were much smaller than the Chinese spy balloon, appear to be different shapes and flew at altitudes that could jeopardize passenger airlines. Since the Chinese balloon incident, the U.S. has enhanced radars to more closely monitor U.S. airspace, which might explain the increase in activity.
What's gone on the last, 2 weeks or so, 10 days, has been nothing short of craziness.
On Monday, China claimed the U.S. has flown more than 10 high-altitude balloons over its airspace in the last few years. U.S. security officials denied the accusation, saying in a tweet that it's the latest example of China scrambling to do damage control. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, the White House.
A Kentucky congressman is leading a House investigation into President Joe Biden's family. House Oversight Chair James Comer sent his first official request for documents to President Joe Biden's brother James and the president's son Hunter. His committee is investigating the Biden family's foreign business dealings and whether the Bidens involved Joe Biden in any of their dealings or used the family name to generate millions of dollars. Comer demands Hunter Biden turn over classified documents from any government body and any documents from Hunter's close associate, Eric Schwerin. State leaders have introduced a new bill against domestic violence. Senator Julie Rocky Adams was joined by Secretary of State Michael Adams and the CEO of the Kentucky Coalition Against Domestic Violence to unveil the legislation. Senate Bill 79, the Safe at Home Act, would allow victims of domestic violence to hide information that could be accessed through public records, such as their home address. Victims would not need to apply for a protective order in order to participate in the Safe at Home program.
And continuing to watch, plenty of sunshine throughout the mountains this afternoon. We will continue to see warm temperatures. We've started to warm up today, and that'll continue into the next few days. How about 50 right now at UVA-Wise? A little cooler than everybody else. They're typically a cooler spot there in Wise. Beautiful look at the campus at this point. As that sun, those shadows getting a little longer. We're getting a little closer and closer to sunset out there. Slade along the Mountain Parkway, plenty of sunshine this afternoon. 62 the current reading there, and most of us staying in those lower 60s right now. Again, a few upper 50s hanging on. Cumberland Valley up toward Pikeville and Southwest Virginia, usual cooler spot. But at this point, looking pretty nice. We'll continue to see clouds move on out. but a few more will move on in as we head a little bit later on into tonight. So go ahead and download that First Alert weather app if you haven't already. We will continue to see plenty of sunshine through the next couple of hours, at least until the sun sets, back in the 40s as we head into tonight, and some of us getting down into the middle 30s, but those clouds will continue to increase. I'll have the latest look in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. For 3 generations, the Smith family has been serving the people of Hazard and Perry County, fighting fires, saving folks through the floods and beyond. The Hazard Fire Department has had at least one Smith working at the station since 1968. And one of the grandsons, Joshua, says it's an honor for their family to be serving the community for such a long period of time.
When you add the volunteer department time in with the career paid, when we all retire and all is said and done, this lineage, the Smith family, will have given right at 200 years of service to the city of Hazard and the fire service.
Earlier today, we sat down with Earl Smith, his son Brad, and his 4 grandsons to learn more about their family's history. We'll have the full story tonight at 6. Since 2019, researchers with Reckoning, Inc. have made it their mission to tell the forgotten history of slavery in the Bluegrass State. Dan Getteman, the executive director, says his organization is using old files like census records, court reports, and church documents to connect descendants of slaves with their ancestors. He says understanding the past helps people understand what is happening in the present.
Their story really hasn't been told very well by historians in Kentucky. It's been in the past few years that people are starting to really dig deeply into the primary source documents about slavery in Kentucky.
Researchers say 250,000 slaves were in Kentucky. Getteman hopes his organization's research will help people better understand life in Kentucky and America. A service at a Central Kentucky Christian University that started last week is still going. The service at Asbury University in Wilmore is being described as a revival, a movement that only God could orchestrate and keep going. WYMT's Phil Pendleton shows us what is taking place there.
It began last Wednesday and went through the weekend. It is still going on today, nonstop, 24 hours a day. There is prayer, there is singing, there is praise and worship, people giving their testimonies, and just about everybody saying this is not something that they could have done themselves. What began with students has blossomed and grown to include people from all over the country. People from as far away as Oregon have heard about this and are showing up to sing, raise their hands in praise, or kneel down to pray. It's hard to describe why this is happening or what has caused a simple prayer service to go on and on and on. But people say the reason is very simple, yet profound.
No big lights or big media or anything like that. It's proof that the Lord is working right now. It's amazing to see, and we just want to be a part of that desperately.
We would just say there is a spirit of the Lord in this place that has just really burrowed its way into the hearts and minds of our students and staff, faculty, our community.
There are still classes going on today here at the university, and the university president tells me they're being very flexible with those that would rather go to this than go to class. In Jessamine County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Coming up on First at 4, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and thanks to supply chain issues and inflation, you may be shocked with flower prices this year.
You may also be shocked by temperatures in the 60s. Details on the warm weather on the way coming up.